As you know, over the weekend, I was at the G7 in Cornwall with Ursula and Charles. As we continue the fight to end COVID-19 for good, we took a strong stance on major issues, including on access to vaccines, climate change, and global education.
Trudeau's Thank You Pfizer tour from last year to Belgium cost the Canadian taxpayer $250,000. I've got the expense reports to prove it, and I'll also show you how much money Justin Trudeau spent on water from totally not drink box water bottle sort of things on just one of his stops. Last year, actually, a year ago this week, Trudeau went to the UK and then to Belgium. While in the UK, though, he meddled in their domestic politics for some reason with regard to Northern Ireland and Brexit. It's sort of like Boris Johnson weighing in on Alberta and Quebec and equalization. But okay. Anyway, here's the CTV News article on the Belgium portion of the trip. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spent his last day in Europe on Tuesday thanking leaders and local workers for getting COVID-19 vaccines to Canada, saying there is no silver bullet that results in shots being available around the world. Trudeau visited the manufacturing facility in Pfizer Belgium, where Canada's supply of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine was produced until the United States started shipping doses early last month. While the government was locking Canadians in COVID jails and scolding us for unnecessary travel, Trudeau went to Belgium to thank the pandemic profiteers of Pfizer. For what? Getting richer than God and Oprah combined? Shortly after Trudeau came home, he announced measures to make the vaccine manufacturers even richer. Workplace vaccine mandates and vaccine travel restrictions. So how much did this unnecessary virtue signaling trip cost us? We know through access to information filings with Global Affairs that have been proactively released. $252,000 from Global Affairs. There's more to be found at the Department of National Defense, which would pay for the flights directly. We don't have those yet. And naturally, right off the hop, we see liberal hypocrisy as Trudeau bans single-use plastics and lectures Canadians about it. Trudeau charged the taxpayer for the things he tells us not to buy. Page 1, it includes buying water bottles as the first thing, not drink box water bottle sort of things.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of when we have water bottles out of plastic, away from plastic towards paper.
Plus, we see $59,000 in cars and drivers in Belgium and another $83,000 for cars and drivers in the UK leg of the same trip. They keep taxing me for this climate emergency that they won't shut up about, but the Liberals sure don't like to act like climate change is really an emergency, do they? And because it's Trudeau, there's of course an extra expense for booze on page 2 for the flights, another $200+ on wine and beer. Again, the Department of National Defense is usually responsible for the planes, and this means they would have already stocked the flights with booze for Trudeau. But of course, he just needed more. The Liberals spared no expense on themselves to go and thank their rich friends in Big Pharma while we were stuck in the dungeon country they govern. They don't care. They just rub it in our faces. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. At Rebel News, we are going to do our best to find the remaining expenses for this trip through the Department of National Defense. If you'd like to help fund those research costs, please consider making a donation at rebelinvestigates.com.